Hey, welcome.
Good. Yeah. It's a very special. Hello. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of better performance. That could definitely work. It was lovely. We tried to keep it as low threshold as possible. There's a lot of big activities for kids, family, education. Hi, I'm Lucinda Jack.
I was in bathroom Kaylee with Allie, who always dancing to the festival.
Okay, so see, there's one of our people right there. So, yeah, it's.
I'm friends with her and saw that she's neighborhood association.
Right, the neighborhood association just stepped on, but she's still co-chairing the festival.
Oh,
That's Beth from Sealy,
She's
Kaylee.
the board member, so, yeah, she's still.
oh, don't say just.
Numbers are pretty critical. Especially when there's only two of them that actually run the festival, it's me and Lynn.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah, we did the entire thing last year.
Wow.
Pretty much. Yeah, we have lots of nice volunteers on the day.
It's
A
impressive.
few leading up to that. We have a new board member this year,
Good.
Sarah Wars.
You guys made it.
Publicity.
Day 2. Have you guys had any issues with
Well, you
getting
know,
applications or anything like
No,
that?
she doesn't want to be told.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was the thing, is we get told that.
All right, well, it's now 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. We're here for the Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board meeting. And I'm Chris Snyder, the staff liaison to the board. Yeah, I guess do a roll call. If I close it. Ryan Gale. Here. Chair. Carly Wright, who is the vice chair, is absent today. She's actually going back to school as a conflict timing. Omar is absent today. Roger Williams. Here. Aaron Zysip.
Here.
And Betsy Vega is sick today. And Tony Piscoli. Here. And James Franklin.
Here.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8. All right, great.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for attending our January meeting, and our first item of business is the approval of the agenda for January 14th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Okay, is there a second?
Wait a second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Agenda is approved. Okay, next I'm going to review our typical cultural tourism cultural advisory board here. We're a little over the halfway point in our annual cycle. So our next February meeting will be a continuation of reviewing the TOT event grant applications. And as a reminder, this is a non-mandatory attendance for those organizations whose applications will be discussed or reviewed. And this is updated for 2025. And then in March, we'll be making our recommendations for which grant applicants will receive funding. And during April and May, we will review the process and make adjustments if needed. Okay, now I'd like to open it, now I'd like to ask for the approval of minutes from December 10th, 2024.
So previous meetings, yes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from December 2024?
I so moved.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes from December 10th, 2024 are approved. I'd now like to open it up for public comment, and this is the opportunity of appearance of persons wishing to address the board on any matters other than those which appear on this agenda. Do we have any public comment?
For the approval of the agenda, was that both minutes and the agenda?
Yeah. Okay, seeing no public comment, we're going to move on to our first item of action. This is a proposal for a temporary meeting date and time discussion. So Carly is unable to attend the meetings at this time going forward due to a commitment with her going back to school. So if someone is willing, would someone be willing to make a motion to change the time and date of our current TOT board meetings?
I'll motion that we change the date.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, I'd like to open it down to discussion. So based on our conversations with Carly and conversations with Chris and Kelly, Thursdays at 6 p.m. So the same time, just a different day would work best for us. Are there any other persons who would have conflict at that particular time?
That actually works better for me.
Okay,
I'm fine, I did it.
okay, Roger.
Yeah, that's good.
Thursday, the second Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock, same time, same,
Yeah,
just different day.
that works.
Aaron, how about you?
It's fine with me. I don't have any objection.
Any issues from the, no? All right,
Chris, we need to make another motion for that particular time, no?
yeah, let's make a,
Okay,
If you want to just,
make a friendly amendment to.
yeah,
I'll amend the motion to say that we'll meet the second Thursday.
Thursdays at 6 p.m.
all right, so the motion is moving the current date of the CTPAB meeting to the second Thursday at 6 p.m. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, so the next item requiring action is the public acknowledgement of potential conflicts of interest by board members. Okay, so based on the applications going to be reviewed tonight, do any board members have conflicts of interest they would like to disclose?
I occasionally go into the Willamette Arts Center to throw pots. I haven't been in for a year, but I would like to go back. I don't serve on the board. I'm not connected with them in any way other than to just go in there. Get dirty. So does anybody see that as a problem?
I don't think so unless there's some other things to consider, Okay, everybody online's had a chance to speak. Aaron?
I don't have any conflicts of interest.
Okay, seeing that all conflicts of interest, and I don't have any conflicts of interest regarding the applications we're reviewing tonight. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is review of the TOT event applications, starting with the facility operators events. So the facility operators events that we're going to be discussing in order will be on the PowerPoint, and we'll talk about them as they appear.
Well, I can bring up the actual application if you guys so wish.
Yeah, and Carly has provided comments too on some of these applications. I will read them when they come up. Okay, so the first item for discussion is the event grant, the promotional video for the Gilbert House asking for $10,000. Are there any comments about this particular application? Give everyone a chance to do glance at it really quick. I would like to mention that because this is a video, there are no estimated attendance for this event or project. Okay, seeing no comments about this particular application, I'd like to move on to the next slide.
Next up is the Deepwood Museum and Gardens with their public events, 1/4. Asking for 10,000.
Good. Okay, are there any comments in regards to this application? Okay, seeing no comments, I'd like to move on to the next slide.
Next slide is the Elsinore Theater with a request for their seasonal monthly movie fun event. Asking for 8,000.
Any comments from board members?
I volunteer at the Elsinore. I usually attend the showing of the movies and it's really heartwarming to watch them bring in some of the people from the many services that we have. I think it's a splendid organization, and I think they do a very good job for involving people that otherwise would remain in some kind of a facility.
Yeah, so in regards to this application, I want to point out that of the 3 major top goals, the one thing that they have decided to focus on is enhancing quality of life and encouraging cultural inclusiveness, diversity for all Salem residents. There's not heavy focus on overnight stays or kind of economic activity, which are the other 2, central things that the top board considers. So, while I think this is, from a principal standpoint, an important event, it doesn't do as strongly in regards to those 2 other goals. Okay, any other questions or comments from board members? Okay, seeing none.
Let me make a comment about that. They also have many events there, bring in singers from the out, like from Canada or something like that. And they draw a crowd, so they know these people are from. Some of them come quite a distance, and I know that some of them stay overnight and stay. I think there's.
And these are individuals who attend the event, is that correct? Who spend overnight? Yeah.
Some of them do,
Yeah, go ahead.
if they come from, if we got somebody like the Eagle Eyes, we've got people that will come up here from Southern Oregon or from Western Oregon, and I'm sure they spend the night.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
James, any comment?
Yeah, as far as you're saying about this event, maybe not specifically, in driving for overnight stays.
Yeah.
They have other shows that do drive that, shows that draw people in for those reasons. And this event frees up their funding for those other ones. So indirectly, by funding something like this, it allows them to put more effort into the other events that do drive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the comments,
And I agree with you that it doesn't directly correspond to those criteria. I think it lends to the overall charm and je ne sais quoi of Salem that brings people to visit for other reasons. And when people are looking at destinations to go. They look for things like this, historic themes, historic.
They do.
So although it's harder to quantify, I still think there's value in promoting this.
Yeah, absolutely. Any comments from persons online?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay, in that case, we'll move on to our next slide. Okay, and this is the grant for the Salem Art Fair. Okay, any comments regarding the Salem Art Fair grant application? Okay. Seeing no comments, I'd like to move on to the next slide. Okay, next slide is World Beat Festival. Any comments regarding World Beat Festival?
I personally taken part in similar events, did things like this when I was in college. And they are very, 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 very fun. There's a lot of really good things, and I'm seeing tents in the back, so there might be some food from different countries that would be there. I can't recommend something like this higher, I guess. I had a really good experience doing that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'd like to add that it's an event that is very, very well attended. It's an opportunity for people to introduce themselves to different cultures and to different foods. I enjoy going there myself very much.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, every year event, it's been a high quality event. I've been really impressed by the hard work.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Any additional comments? Okay, so moving on to the carousel for Santa at the Carousel. So any comments regarding Santa at the Carousel?
I think I would ask about the overnight stays on this one. And how much is it driving overnight stays? Or is the carousel mostly just kind of part of the whole package of Salem? I'm not totally certain. I guess I need to see some of the numbers on like how.
So I can pull the metrics for, sorry, it's getting in trouble.
I think it's also important to remember that it's not just about heads and beds. That's not what the talk grant is solely about. Some of it is just plain to increase the cultural richness of the city. And I think that happens with things like Santa Claus coming train and stopping at the carousel. I think that's very meaningful. That's always well attended and a lot of fun.
As a new member, you haven't, there's three main goals of the board. One is obviously, promoting tourism, overnight stays, et cetera, because that's how the funding comes in. Second on that is the quality of life for all Salem residents, being inclusive and welcoming. It's promoting. And then the third one is for the economic impact for just in general, the businesses downtown. The Salem.
So that falls mostly under two, a little bit under three, kind of.
Correct. So they're, when on the application, they should be marking where they think they have the most impact. If they mark all three, then they need to provide a little bit of detail in the following question to identify how they meet the criteria for how they're impacting those that they selected, those three options. So you should see that in the application. And of course, if you feel that they don't quite hit the heads and beds type thing, but they score higher on the quality of life and inclusiveness, then that's where you adjust your score. Okay.
It's a balance.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's just to say that in reality, not either one of the three is more important than the other. They're all equally important. They all have value associated with them equally. So that's where you adjust your score based on how they select and then how they respond to justification for the rationale for how they impact those. One of those three.
Okay.
Any additional comments about Senate the Carousel? Okay, seeing none, move on to the next one, and this is the Willamette Arts Center, brought to you at the Oregon State Fair.
Otherwise known as the Artisans Village.
Okay, any comments about this particular application? Okay, seeing no comments, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so the next event under consideration is Magic at the Mill from Willamette Heritage Center. Any comments about Willamette Heritage Center Magic at the Mill?
Were any of the board members able to attend this last round?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, seeing no additional comments, I think that concludes things for our facility applications. Okay, so we're going to move on to the non-facility grant applications. Starting with the B-17 Alliance. So I'll start things off by reading Carly's comments as written. Okay, so Carly writes, there are some discrepancies with applications, such as outcome 2 is 18,400 followers, assumption on social media. But past performance says their social media follower is 26,951, but their Facebook page has 13,000 followers. They do not currently have a relatively modern website and a 3-minute video introduction on the first page. They do currently have a relatively modern website and a 3-minute video introduction on the first page, so I am not sure how badly a website redesign is needed, or how effective it would be without knowing what the current traffic to site is like. Creation of a strategic marketing plan would be good. Also, encouragement to start promoting in general. Rarely/never see any advertising or promotion through paid or free sources as is.
I think that last part is important, that they don't seem to be doing much to bring attention to what they're doing here. I think also that we're very fortunate to have that airplane here. There are very, very, very few of them left. And they're an important part of our history. But I agree that they should improve getting the word out. And I wonder how much money they're raising on their own. Seems like it should be more, could be more, it should be more.
So a couple other things I want to point out that are in front of the application. The percentage of top funds that are covering the project is 86%. Actually, wait, no, market, yeah. You know, you do some bargaining, 70% of top money is being used to fund the project. So there's significant investment from the top fund to fund the project.
Maybe I'm missing it. I didn't see it when I was reviewing this initially, but do we have an outline of how much is allocated to strategic marketing, how much to the website redesign?
So the scope of this application is just the, let's see, yeah, so the tree parking plan, it says it's $3,000 and website redesign is $4,000. Well, 3,999.
Okay, well, as I would certainly have different ideas of how to how to spend marketing money. Probably beyond our scope to make suggestions how they do so. You'll see these as the beneficiaries. But um, see, targeting part was.
Yeah, right, any,
You can also, this is not the only application that's doing a kind of a strategic plan website redesign. So you can compare that to the other one and see how much detailed difference there is.
okay, any additional comments about the B17 Alliance application for the strategic marketing plan and website redesign? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move on to the next application, which should be Capital Pride and the Capital Pride March/block party. Okay, Carly has some comments on both of these applications, so I'll read them. Low marketing investment, 2%. Projected attendance is 6,000. Last year's event, per their TOT report, attracted 4,000. This application does not specify what they will do differently or additional to attract 2,000 more people. TOT for this application is funding with 49% of funding. 2024 final event report showed that TOT was 98% of their funding. This event is not sustainable with TOT as sole funder.
I had the same comment on that. I just wanted to see more detail on how they plan to draw a third more people.
It's kind of struck by the small amount of donations that they've actually received. It's, you know, they're asking for $10,000 and donations are at 500. Makes me wonder what would happen without us. And I think I'd like to see a little more effort in raising up the funding.
Any additional comments regarding these two applications from Capital Pride?
No, I think Carly covered it.
Okay, next we're going to move on to Casa de Cultura Tenense for the Youth and Portuguese celebration and the contest. Okay, I'll read Carly's comments. It says high cost per attendee for TOT funding with a request of $10,000 for potential 600 attendees. Received funding for 2024 event, which attracted 200 attendees and received $10,000 per their final TOT report.
I agree again.
And that says a lot, that it's very high dollar per attendee there.
But just as a reminder, the board has the purview to adjust the request. As a result. So if we felt that it's too high of an amount per attendee, we can make a recommendation for something more.
I think this is an important event. I think culturally, I think it's in this area that's very important to support. But unless there's a lot more people that show up, it quite justifies that dollar amount.
I might support or would support something in the area of about $2,500. It's more sensible than 10,000 for 600.
Additional comments from board members about these applications? Okay, seeing none, moving on to the next item.
I would like to say something in general. I think sometimes that some of the, when they write these grants, they see that we'll take up to $10,000, and so they just sign up for that $10,000, and they don't really think about how much they're really going to need to put that event on. And I find that troubling sometimes.
Agreed. I've noticed that just in the last couple of years being on the board.
And I will provide that. These are reimbursements for their events. So they actually have to spend the money before they can get the grant awarded to them. So they do supply us with invoices to cover the amount.
Having been on the other side, there is a mentality of just, we may as well try to get as much as we can. And they can always give us less or say no, but we may as well try.
And if you're, you're incentivized to spend that money.
Yeah.
So it's just something to keep in mind, especially as we start having more and more competition or want to diversify a small pool of money to cover more things. And maybe, I don't know if there's a way to communicate to folks to ask for what they need so that the pool can be spread out more. But that's not for this year.
Yeah, and these would be kind of more things to consider as we go into sort of April and May, where we review the process again.
Yeah.
Like assess what we could or couldn't do differently.
Absolutely.
These might be issues to, bring up again and talk about. Okay, okay. Oh, it's taking on Steely of the Valley, the Samhain Festival. Okay, any comments about this particular event?
If I could comment, it's Kaylee.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, my mistake. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And the event is Samhain. It's a Gaelic.
Yeah.
pronunciation. So just,
Yeah, maybe I need to go to the event, brush up my.
yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't pronounce it correctly if I didn't know.
Yeah.
What was the attendance on this event?
Yeah, double check.
Last report.
I'm making an error here, misunderstanding. They're requesting $9,000. Yet when you turn over to the list of financial support, they show a Todd grant of $7,000. This is something.
That's how it appears.
Yeah, I noticed that the funding request is not listed consistently, listed as both 9,000 and 7,000.
So they got 9,000 on the application at the beginning,
Yes, and if you go down,
and then when you go down to the actual budget,
7,000.
yeah, they got 7,000 in there.
Well, I'm not sure what to do about that.
You go to the budget application, budget form, they've got 7,000 there too.
Was that last year?
Their report is here. Last year or this year. And they were at 6,000.
What is the expected number of participants?
Attendance was 380.
Expected, it's fine.
Festival attendance of 417 attendees.
Also, it's in the goal of attendance looks to be about 500 people. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun.
So it does kind of look like they've got 7,000 down twice. Only once for the 9,000, so that could be up to the board to have that budgeted at either the 9,000 or the 7,000.
Oh, Chris, just really quick, I realized Carly had a comment on the Santa carousel that I didn't quite get to. She stated that budget doesn't balance, in kind miscalculated.
We can pull that up if you want, but
Yeah.
we're on.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing done, I'd like to move on to our next slide. Should be the Inglewood Forest Festival.
I'm available if there's any questions.
Okay, are there any comments about the Inglewood Forest Festival application? Okay, seeing no comments, we can move on to our next application, which is the Riverfront Family Fest. Are there any comments about the Riverfront Family Fest? Chris, would you mind pulling up the application? Sure.
This is an organization that I personally support monthly. I think they provide a great service to the city of Bay.
Yeah, you pull up the event attendance section. The event attendance.
Event attendance, the projected?
Yeah. And I'd like to point out, just as an observation, that they were not expecting any overnight tourists for this event.
And so I noted that too, and
Is that because of the timing of the event? Day versus evening?
Yeah, that might be the case.
Timing of it and also being a family event, having kids in a hotel. No.
It can be done.
you've been in the hotel with kids, I take it.
Yeah, I think people will avoid it whenever, if at all possible, so.
And like, how do we define out of town? For the purposes of the application?
For the purpose of that, anything, if you're coming from 50 miles or greater. Doesn't always mean that if you're coming from 50 miles or more that you can actually stay, but
Sure.
there's a higher probability.
4,000.
We attend 4,000. Mostly local residents, so it's going back to the quality of life for Salem residents and inclusiveness.
Just think that's a really good dollars for that
Yeah,
amount
I
of
agree.
people.
Okay, any additional comments about Riverfront Family Fest? Okay, moving on to our next slide. Okay, we have our two concerts from Festival Corral, Oregon. Any comments on either of these two applications?
Oh, they looked solid. Did Carly have any comments in her written?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Oh, for this one?
CO.
Oh, it's, yeah. Oh, it's, yeah, there we go. It says, glad to see the marketing plan updated with current information. These events are on the higher side of investment per attendee for TOT funding request of $10,000 for potential 400 attendees per year. Past attendance was 300 attendees per completed TOT report.
That's another one that I noticed that was seemed to me that they're asking for an awful lot of money. Not a very big turn.
What's the venue? The Elsinore?
You mean the location?
Yeah.
I think that's at the university. Isn't that what they call that?
Well, the background on the one is the Elsinore on the far right with Christmas stuff. But yeah, usually, I think in the application it should say, it's usually Willamette University, auditorium.
Chris, this is Brian Gonzalez with SFCO. If there are questions I can help address.
Thanks, Brian.
Any additional comments?
So I'm showing you that the Olsen.
Okay.
Yeah, I can just clarify, we do not perform at Willamette University. That's Willamette Master Course, a separate applicant. We primarily perform at the Elsinore as well as local churches.
Any additional comments from board members? Seeing none, let's move on to the next slide, which is going to be Hoopla. Any comments about the Hoopla application?
My grandson has played at Hoopla every year for, I don't know, the last 6 or 7. I think that is an incredible benefit of a young show. They bring in hundreds of people from far away and they're staying overnight.
I haven't. This one, but I grew up down in Albany. They have one down in Albany, or at least when I was growing up, they did. And people come in ways away. There were people from a long ways away to do those. So yeah, as far as that first part, it's definitely bringing people in.
Yeah.
This is the largest 3-on-3 outdoor basketball event on the West Coast, as far as what I've heard.
I can believe that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Okay, any additional comments? I think Carly's had any comments on this one. Okay, moving on to our next slide, which is Indigenous Now. The 8th annual Indigenous Peoples Day event asking for $10,000. Okay, any comments on this application? And I will first read what Carly has to say. It says, application states no past performance information to provide, but that is this the 8th annual event. The budget is not plausible. This event is not sustainable with TOT as sole funding source. As it has happened for 7 years, how was event funded previously?
This is another grant that I have trouble with. It's just a whole lot of money for a one-day event. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't appear that we're fully sponsoring.
Chris, can you hold the budget for the event?
He's looking.
He's got it open.
October 13th at Riverfront Amphitheater. 500 attendance. I think it'd be a little more than that.
Yeah, there it is.
Sponsorship donations. But she is right there.
Yeah, marketing expenses were not listed as well, in the application. Yeah, that particular cell was blank. And also TOT funding is covering a pretty significant portion, yeah, all of it, yeah.
Let's see.
I think.
So they do say in the narrative here, sponsorships and donations, other financial support, but they don't have that on their budget sheet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is
budgets are rough.
Go
I said the budget is rough. I think it's a worthwhile event. We may want to discuss down the line 10,000, but I think the event itself would be worth encouraging.
Yeah, that
That
was,
was, this is a first time applicant as well.
Yeah,
This is the kind of event that should be in the small grants looking for $2,000.
Mm.
In my estimation, and not 10,000 for a one-day event. It's just not.
Yeah, I think this is a situation, just from my perspective, where the event itself has merit, is important, but just the application did not, accurately represent the event. Or provide
Yeah.
sufficient information.
Do we have the ability to ask for the information?
Not at this point, but we can ultimately decide how much of it that will be funded.
You can indicate the value of it in your opinion, but at a lesser amount.
Yeah, I concur with, probably, I really like to see how they funded it previously. Something that's quite out of, but.
Any additional comments about Indigenous Peoples Day event?
Their narrative on number 12 answers the question about their detailed marketing promotional plans, what they've done in the past. Promoting mainly through social media.
Still does. Is that organic? Or is paid ads or the?
Yeah, because it doesn't list any marketing expenses, I'm assuming it's all organic Facebook marketing.
yeah, I had some serious issues with some of the, it just doesn't seem as, well thought out. It's- But yeah, echo what you said, it's absolutely an event that should be supported in some way, but
Yeah, and once we get to the point where we're actually having, a serious conversation on what to allocate, we can talk about it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, any additional comments? Okay, moving on to the next application. So these are the Florida Tribal Conservancy events. Okay, Carly wrote for both the events, so this is, first comments are for the open house. Past performance, knowing they hold open gardens every year, it would have been good if the application had included past attendance information. And for the website update, TOT is substantial to this project budget.
The application.
Sure.
Okay. Any comments about this particular set of applications?
Again, I question how the money's being spent, but that's not necessarily my role here. But it does make it harder for me to support it.
Are there any additional comments regarding these two applications? Seeing none, let's move on to our next slide. Should be Make Music Day. And Carly's comment is budget doesn't balance, in kind miscalculated. Okay, any comments about Make Music Day? Okay, seeing no comments about this application, we move on to our final application, which we consider tonight. The Mono a Mono Urban Art Fest. Are there any comments about this application from board members?
Hello, my name is Sandra Hernandez. I'm the Director of Youth Programs at Mano Mano, and I'm here to answer any questions you have about the event.
Any comments from board members?
I didn't have any questions based on the application. Looks like an interesting event.
Okay, seeing no comments, I think that concludes the application we are reviewing tonight. Okay. So I'd like to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the Cultural Tourism Fund Report for December 2024.
All right, so just taking a look at how we've done so far for the first 6 months of the year, of the fiscal year. But there's actually a 1 month lag in the recordings of the, or the receiving of the TOT grants, sorry, the TOT taxes. So hoteliers will receive the bookings, and then they have 30 days to kind of pay or submit their TOT tax collections to the city. So that means that even though the fiscal year starts on July 1st, so July 31st is when that first month ends. And so their July payment from their July collections isn't due until August 30th or September 1st, or actually at the end of the month, so August 30th. So there is a 1 month lag. So what we're looking at is 5 months of data. All that to say, we're looking at 5 months data. Through December, we've collected 2.4 million. Same time last year was just under 2.2 million. So we're up about 10%, 26,000 in revenues. So that's good. Seeing that those revenues are coming in strong, that means that we'll be able to cover our expected expenses. You can see how the expenses have been going. Interest has been nice as well, with higher interest rates and having a large fund balance. It's able to bring in a lot more revenue on that line item. So expenditures go by the convention center. They have a contract with the city for 10% of the collections. So that should be about a little bit higher. It should be that there's a payment that's in between, hasn't been recorded just yet. Travel Salem Promotion as the destination marketing organization for the city of Salem is receiving their portion. We've got city programs and also the funding from the one-time funding for the library and parks and recreations that were part of the budget operations adopted by the city council last year is included in there. So that's why you're seeing that at a higher number year over year. General administration, staffing for the various parts that work with cultural tourism and parks and other areas of tourism. Our grants, we paid out 342,000 in TOT grants compared to last year at the same time, 312,000, so about 10% higher. Of course, this was the year that we had the most applications and the most that we funded applicants. So we're on target for that $791,000 worth of TOT grants being paid out. And then the contingency piece, that's all the banking fees and direct fees for the collections and recordings of all the payments received throughout the year.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So that's paid monthly by the taxpayer. Do you have any idea what the average like delinquency rates are, defaults on these
Are you talking about
from the taxpayer?
from the hoteliers and motels and stuff? There's the majority of the hoteliers pay on a regular basis. We do know that there are one or two that pay on a quarterly basis. If they are late, they start accruing the interest charges after the 30 days.
I'm just wondering if we're chasing money, trying to.
Not really, not really. We're doing quite well. You can see here the tax collections on the month-to-month basis. And how they come in. In regards to the month of December, it's actually under where we were last year, this time frame. The November data is one where there was some catch up. So there was a quarterly payment that was made and interest earnings and stuff like that that kind of artificially increased that. And there were some corrections that were made in the reporting. So. And then after that, we get into the reports, which is general information. And also as you're going through your applications, reviewing, you can see how did these organizations do last time on the reporting side of things, which looks like Carly's been doing nicely for everyone here. But the first part of them, the reports are going to be for the facility operator grants. So they'll be doing their quarterly reports, showing stuff, their attendance, how things went, stuff. So you all have access to that. This was Pride in the Park. Capital Pride in the Park event that took place. Request for 8,000. There's the Salem Art Fair Festival. They moved their date back in the year from where it used to be towards the end of June to September timeframe. Here's the Vietnam War Memorial event that just took place this year. Here is the Artisans Village from the Oregon State Fairgrounds, State Fair. Here's the Magic at the Mill. Includes information items.
So next item, capital improvement reports, which we do not have any. Let's move on to roundtable discussion and appearance of interested citizens. So this is the opportunity for those in attendance of the meeting to address the board and share upcoming events.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I know last year the grants for awards were decreased by 20%.
Yeah, generally across the board, that's the case.
Right, is that the plan this year?
It depends on, how the applications score and how much money there is available. So that'll be decided in the March meeting.
Thank you.
Any roundtable discussion from people who are in person today?
I'm Yvonne Putsy with the Lord and Scriber Conservancy. We are busy preparing for the upcoming season. So this is a quieter time as far as garden communities go, but it's a good time of preparation. So we'll be launching in with our open garden starting again in April.
All right, thank you.
Any other activities happening from the folks in the room?
I could just share that Family Play Sunday keeps going. Bring your kiddos. It's raining out. Come on down to Willamette Arts Center.
Okay.
So every Sunday between the hours of
The first and third Sundays.
first and third Sundays.
How are you still actively looking for another place to go?
Yes,
Are you getting any good leads?
don't have much detail to provide. We're working on it.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kaylee of the Valley continues with its Tuesday night dance classes, and it's second Friday monthly Kaylee with live music. March is when we'll be dancing around. We have our walkabout in downtown Salem, and some of you may or may not have noticed, but we got permission through the city of Salem to light up the Jerry Frank Salem Rotary Club amphitheater in the colors of the Irish flag, and they plan to do that annually. So see that.
I noticed.
Yeah,
And where are those held?
Have an explanation.
Where are the dances held?
at the VFW hall,
At the VFW hall.
635th Street Northeast.
And the time?
Well, Tuesday night dance classes are 6:30 to 8:30. And then the second Friday, Kaylee's doors open at 7, live music is 8 to 11.
Now we just have to get permission to dye the river green.
I don't think we're gonna ask for that, but
It's already.
if you visited last year, it really is impressive to look at it lit up. We asked just for green, and the city of Salem really went all out to do the colors of the Ireland flag.
Is the, what day, March 17th or the whole month?
March 17th.
Any comments from those appearing online?
We have online, we have Christine from Willamette Master Choir course. Any updates or events happening in the near future?
Yeah, so we just wrapped up a sold out holiday concert in December. I actually had a waiting list of about 15 people for each day. So that was exciting and unusual. Coming up is our Latin concert in March, which is the 8th and 9th, and we're combining concerts in both Salem and at Woodburn High School for that. Super excited. It's a good cross section of Latin music and involving high school students from Salem, Kaiser, and Woodburn. The Woodburn Mariachi group, which is quite famous, and then the Freddie Vilches Latin Ensemble, which is also well known in the community, and he has written music for this concert. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you. We also have Sandra Hernandez Mamala. Any events happening in the near future in your organization? Last, we have Paola Somoza. Any events happening in your organization you'd like to share?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, we are organizing the event for the Huapango Huasteco contest, in which it's going to be the second year we hosted in Salem, and where we're We're gonna be having people traveling. We're talking with people, other dancers from Washington area and Texas and California to come and compete for this dance show. So we're excited for that. And so, yeah, that will be for May 31st. That'll be the date of our event. So May 31st. And as we get closer, we'll be sharing more information. And hopefully some of you guys can join us. And for the event, we'll be having live music. We'll be in a trio that is going to be playing live music from Mexico. And they're going to be coming to this event.
Thank you.
All right, so everybody,
That's everyone online that I know of.
okay. So for other business and parking lot items, future discussion, we have none. And it says next meeting February 11th, but because of our decision tonight, it will now be February 13th, Thursday. So any final comments from anybody? Nope, in that case, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Chris and everyone.
Thank you.
No, it's like.
Been meeting tonight.
I'll get Saturday.
No, here's the thing, I appreciate you like.